Before I start, let me just give you a warning. The recipe I'm making today, it's amazing. It's a combination of roasted eggplants and chicken in breadcrumbs. It's a chicken and eggplant sort of sandwich, and it's absolutely to die for. I'll start with the eggplants as I need to pre-cook them in the oven. So I'll start with an immediate tip. I'm slicing them and I'm using a bread knife as always, as it is safer, and I'm going to go for approximately 1.5 centimeter as I need them to hold texture and structure. So go down vertically and create a few slices first. And you can use any type of eggplant, by the way. These are the long ones, which are very common in the UK, but if you live in a part of the world where you are lucky enough to have access to variety, even the round ones, perfectly okay also. Couple of baking trays so that they got plenty of space, and I will add them in, and just as they are, I'm not going to add any oil or salt. I will place them in the oven for approximately 20 minutes, temperature 180 degrees, fan assisted, 200 if it's conventional. 2 eggs, and I'll quickly beat them up. Separate bowl, and I'm adding some dried breadcrumbs. I'll start with 8 tablespoons, should be enough, if not I can always add later. Followed by some hard Italian cheese. This is Grana, but you can also use pecorino or parmigiano or any hard cheese you like. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons. And on the cheese front, I'm going to marry my Grana with some cheddar. This is mature cheddar. Again, you can use any cheese you like, or you can just limit yourself to one kind of cheese. I am mixing the two together because I like to balance the sharpness of the Italian cheese with the mildness of the cheddar, and also the cheddar is a little bit creamier and it melts nicely. But same quantity, a couple of tablespoons. A tiny little amount of salt, as there is, oops, the salt is nearly finished. There is plenty of cheese going on, and also some pepper. And my last ingredient is going to be some parsley. This is frozen, but it's perfectly okay. If you got access to fresh, even better. Or if you don't have either, you can always use the dry stuff. Again, about a couple of tablespoons. And I mix it all together, and my breadcrumb mix is ready. And you can see that I've left my ingredients fairly chunky. I could have chosen to grate my cheese considerably finer, or my cheddar, but I like the rusticness look of this dish like this. You'll see what I mean once I put it together. And I now moved on to the chicken breast. I purchased them whole and sliced them myself. It's a little bit cheaper than buying them pre-sliced, but you can buy them pre-sliced of course if you wish, or ask your butcher to slice them for you. But they're very simple to do. All you need to do is just to take a little care and attention, and you could do it yourself. The most important thing is to have a good knife, a sharp knife. Doesn't got to be this big either. So place your hand on top of your chicken breast. Ensure that you got a good amount of a gap there, about a centimeter or anything up to a centimeter, obviously not too thin. And keep your knife horizontal, and very gently, gentle strokes up and down, and as long as you are keeping your knife straight and horizontal, you will see that you will slice your chicken breast, and it's very, very simple. Also, you can use beef, the thinly sliced beef steaks if you like for this recipe. I did that last week and it was very nice, but I decided to do with chicken this week because I think children tend to like chicken more than beef. And also you can do it with pork, of course, or indeed, if you like, you can do it with turkey. We're getting towards Christmas, and turkey is very popular, so this is very aligned with the Christmas season, of course. So there you go, I've just done another one. So I'll do one more, and then I'll mix them with the egg and the breadcrumbs. And here we go, my egg is back, and I'm going to move all of my sliced chicken inside my bowl with the egg all together. And I'm not moving it around, I'm turning it upside down to ensure that each piece of chicken is pretty much covered by egg. And this is the fun part. I really like this stage, I'm not sure why. I think it's a bit of magic what happens next. So I'll pick one piece of chicken, I'll leave it to drain a little, then I'll move it into my breadcrumb mix, and I just lay it flat. and I'll push it gently with a fork, and using a spoon so that it's not wet with any egg. I'll just do this, and I'll push it down with my fork, and if I get hold of the end and give it a little shake, you can see that the entire surface of my chicken is covered by all of that goodness, and it can go on a plate ready for me to fry later. Like this, you don't end up with very dirty fingers, and it's considerably easier, and off it goes. And the first cooking cycle of my eggplants, is over. Here they are, steaming hot, so I will leave them to cool down slightly, and I'll show you what they look like. So they're not totally cooked, but they are 3/4 of the way there. So in the meantime, I'll show you how I'm going to be frying the chicken. If you can, try and find a frying pan which is big enough to hold all of your chicken, so that you only do this once, and a generous amount of olive oil to cover the surface. I'm going to wait until the oil has reached a good frying temperature, and if you move your pan, you can see that it's moving freely. That indicates that it's nice and hot, so I'm ready. Also, if you're not too sure and you want to make sure that it's at temperature, just very quickly and briefly place your chicken in there. You can see that it's sizzling immediately, so that means it's ready. But the temperature is on maximum. I want it to be hot to start with, but I will be turning it down now onto just above medium. And very carefully I'm moving my chicken inside the pan, and as I put it down, I'm not going to move it if I can help it. This is because I don't want to dislodge the breadcrumbs from underneath. But you might have to just do some space management. So I'll move this over here. I've only got one piece left, and I can go over here, and that is perfect. As I said, big enough pan to hold everything. And I'll turn the temperature down even more now onto number 4, as I do not want it to burn. And this will take about 3 to 4 minutes per side, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's time to turn it around. There are 2 indicators to let you know that you're on the right track. Indicator number 1 is that they smell absolutely wonderful from the moment you put them in. And the second indicator is that if you just lift them, you can see that there's this amazing golden crust on the side, indicating that they are perfect. So I'm going to just turn them around and do the other side. I haven't touched them. The word I use often is tinkering with them. Tinkering is when you start doing this for no reason. Just leave them alone and they will cook beautifully. The most important thing is to ensure that you got enough oil, also that your temperature is not too high or not too low. Just like this. A few more minutes, 4 to be exact, and they're done. See, they look absolutely beautiful. And I'm moving them into a plate which I've lined up with some kitchen paper, so that any excess oil can be absorbed. I'll turn this off, and I've got another couple here which I'll place on top, and they will be absorbing oil from both the top and the bottom. And I'll leave them to rest, and I'll show you what I'll do with the eggplants next. And I'm doing exactly what I've done with my chicken breast, but I'm not going to fry them. I will just move them inside my egg here, and I'll do both sides so that they're nice and wet. Here is my breadcrumb mix, and put it in and turn it around just enough. Doesn't have to be as thorough as the chicken, and they can go in an oven tray. And this is when you're gonna find out if you're gonna need more breadcrumbs or not. You just need a little, not a lot, just to flavorize them, as the chicken obviously carries a lot of the flavor anyway. So you will have to judge depending on how much breadcrumbs you've added, but I think I'm gonna be fine. And my quantities of breadcrumbs were absolutely perfect. So if you're making the same quantities that I am, 2 eggplants and 2 chicken breasts, you're perfectly safe to use what I've used, 8 tablespoons. Also, I did slice the eggplants thicker because they will be forming the base of my sandwich, so I want them to be steady. And I'll start with a slice of eggplant. This is half a slice of ham. You do not have to use any ham if you don't want to. It will make it even more flavorful, but you don't have to. Followed by a slice of chicken. Actually, rather than using a smaller one for the base, I'll change my mind. I'll use a bigger one here. And then I will complement with some cheese. I've sliced some mozzarella, and I'll place a couple of pieces on top of my chicken over here. And I'm gonna fish another piece of eggplant. My dishwasher has finished the cycle. That's the noise you can hear, and I can go on top. And I will finish with another slice of ham on top, followed by some cheddar or again mozzarella, whatever you like. I like to have a variety in mine, but you can just use one cheese. But in my case, as I've got also here some Parmigiano, or Grana I should say, on top of my sandwich, I'm going to grate a little on top like this. And to ensure that they do not go for a walk when they are in the oven, I'm going to secure my sandwich with a couple of toothpicks in the middle, one over here and one over here, and this will ensure that it stays in one place. Here is my tray, which I've already lined up with some baking paper, and I'll place this over here and I'll do the rest. With my second one, I'm going to make it triple, meaning 3 layers of eggplant, so that it's even more spectacular. So I'm now putting my second piece of chicken and ham. So entirely up to you how big you want to make it. A bit like a McDonald's, a Big Mac. You can have 2 burgers or 3 burgers or 1, depending how peckish you feel. So I've got here obviously my cheese goes in again, and this is also nearly ready. And I'll mix some cheddar and some mozzarella on top here. My excuse is that my toothpicks will still fit, so it's okay to do. Look at this one. This looks really like a double-decker bus. And a little bit Parmigiano, and I keep calling it Parmigiano. This is Grana, it doesn't matter, I'm sure you know what I mean. And this is also ready. So we got 2 different sizes for the purpose of this video today. Here is my tray. Here's the little one, and here is the big one. And here we are, look, I've managed to make 4, couple of double-decker buses, and a standard one, and also a smaller one over here. And the good thing about this sort of recipes is that inevitably you will end up with some leftover. It's wonderful, better than any chicken nuggets you can buy in any supermarket, and you've made them. So they're ready to go in the oven. Temperature again 180 or 200, and they will be going in for 15 minutes altogether, and then we are ready to eat. And they've been out of the oven for about 7 to 8 minutes, so that they've cooled down. And I've also put together a beautiful dish for my thumbnail. Julie's made a salad with some plum tomatoes, fresh olives from Italy, which we keep in olive oil, and basil. Very simple, obviously. Salt and pepper and olive oil.
I made a really big effort, as you can see, everybody.
Yes. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll be thinking, I wonder if you had any egg left over. Of course I did. And this is what I've made, a little omelette. I could not help it. And that will go in our dish also. But I'll taste some actually, because this is a little bit naughty, because I used the oil left from the eggplants, and it's delicious. Lovely.
Sure, I didn't touch it. I was told not to touch.
Yeah, she's got this habit of coming in and start picking, and I said don't pick that because I wanted to show you in the video. So let me try some of this eggplant and chicken in breadcrumbs sandwich, and see what it's like. It's still a little bit hot. I'll just cut a little bit more here. I know that I'm partly conflicted because I cooked it, but genuinely it's delicious, and you can see that it's delicious really. What is there to go wrong? You're using lovely ingredients and you're mixing them together, and it's absolutely to die for. It's a little bit richer than the normal, but it's Christmas. Thank you for watching, and if you got 10 minutes to spare, make it, and everybody in the family will absolutely love you. Ciao, ciao.